Okay, this is weird. I'm out in public, holding a camera, talking to no one, and trying to make it look like I'm not actually crazy or anything. This might be the most uncomfortable vlog I've done so far, and that is for good reason. I am a big proponent of the phrase, life is on the other side of your comfort zone. And sometimes you have to do things that are really scary to get past that. And that's what I'm doing today. So today, this challenge is all about tackling that fear of being out in public and actually vlogging publicly. So we're gonna go ahead and embrace the cringe today and see if we can do this. Now, you'll notice right now, I'm walking through downtown Annapolis, right here by the State House, and it's a little bit awkward, but we are purposely actually doing it in a little bit more of a sparsely populated area. At first, at some point, I'm gonna walk closer downtown to where the water is, where there's a lot more people, and we're gonna go from there. So I did. When I started this video, I had a couple of people across from me, and I started vlogging, and that's it. And so far, I just walked by somebody a second ago, and it felt very cringy and weird because you're sitting there talking on camera while they're walking by, and you're worried about them judging you. There's another dude just walked by, and I might look like a crazy guy talking on the camera, and that's all right. That's the whole point of this. So I figured I'd try to actually get started with this by just doing some quick walking around downtown, and I'm gonna start at a little bit more sparsely populated. I'm gonna walk down a little bit more populated areas, and then I'm gonna walk down through what would be a heavily populated area on the weekends. Maybe it is today, maybe it isn't. I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of people around, and I am curious to see what kind of looks I'm gonna get from people as I'm walking by when I see this in the camera. I'm trying not to pay attention to them, trying not to worry about it, trying to just go ahead and, vlog in public. Part of me kind of wishes maybe I'd done this with the 360 camera, because with the 360 camera, I could have been able to kind of like expose some of their views when I'm walking by or in front of me, because I'm trying not to pay attention to them. So at least with that, I'd be able to zoom around. So that might be interesting. I'll try that another time. So this is really weird, because there's something very vulnerable about talking on camera in front of a group of people. Matter of fact, I just, I don't know if they're coming up behind me or not, but I know I just passed it a little while ago, because one of the things I told you is turn off your front-facing camera, your front-facing screen, so that way you're not looking at yourself on camera. But there's two, teenage girls behind me who, I'm sure they're used to vlogging and those kind of things, or seeing that out and about. They're much more social media savvy. So maybe to them, maybe it shouldn't look weird, but for some reason that feels a little bit more awkward, being the cringy older guy talking to a camera, walking around vlogging. So yeah, the whole point of number one there is that, this is a very uncomfortable and vulnerable thing to do on camera. At home, it's safe. Out here, you're a lot more vulnerable. What's weird is that, I spent probably over 20 years as a DJ and being in front of crowds and talking on a microphone all the time, that this kind of stuff did not faze me one bit. So I wonder, why am I having a problem being on camera walking around here? There's people kind of all over the streets here, off to the side, walking by, people sitting down, and this feels really awkward to me. And yeah, that's why I'm purposely going ahead and doing it, so I can walk around and get that on camera. So I think part of the reason that that's such a different thing when I was a DJ is, as being up on stage, you're a bit of a performer. You're supposed to be up there on stage. People expect you to be up there on stage. And it wasn't very personal for me, because most of that was a persona that I put on. I'd even put on the DJ voice, but it wasn't really me up there. I know when I first started getting started with DJing, it's a very uncomfortable thing to do, to get up in front of audiences. And the more I learned to perform with that, the more I learned to, play up the act, the more comfortable I got with it, the more I actually fed off it. I actually really enjoyed being on stage in front of people. So it didn't faze me at the end. I was extremely comfortable being on stage and being in front of people and performing. But this is a little bit different because, you know, I'm performing for no one right now. I'm performing for you guys. I'm performing for myself on here. But there is no crowd that I'm performing for here. And I'm sure some of this is me just being in my head. People aren't actually looking at me. I'm sure there is some of this that it's, you know, people that are looking are, you know, curious what I'm doing here. Curious why I'm talking to a camera. Curious if I'm a crazy dude. Curious about what I'm talking about or what I'm doing down here. Or maybe I'm some famous YouTuber that's going around Annapolis right now. I'm not. And I'm sure you're going to get a certain amount of people that are going to look at you and go, oh God, here's somebody vlogging out in public. Here's somebody, you know, trying to be a creator, trying to be an influencer, and rolling their eyes. But pretty much everybody watches YouTube, and influencers and those kind of things, creators, whatever you want to call them, it doesn't really matter. So you can't worry about the people that are sitting there worried about what you're doing or judging you. As the saying goes, and I think I'm paraphrasing here, but you know, you can't worry about people's opinions that are, you know, not out there doing it. If you're not throwing your hat in the ring and doing it, your opinion really doesn't matter. So if you want to jeer me, go ahead. Why don't you get out here and try to do it yourself? Because the one thing you'll notice in YouTube comment sections when you look at anybody's page is you don't see creators on there replying to other people's videos, cringy things like, oh God, man, this sucks. Why are you doing this? Or you should stop doing this. No, those are people that are not in the streets. Those are the people that are not actually on there putting out videos that are spewing off that kind of nonsense, that are spewing off that kind of negativity. So you can't worry about those people. Yeah, can't worry about those people at all. This whole creator experience isn't just about gear and editing, you know, it's about confidence and presence and actually showing up. That's, you know, why I was really doing this 30-day challenge in the first place. Growth doesn't happen in your comfort zone, doesn't happen sitting in your sweatpants, sitting on your sofa. You've got to get outside of your comfort zone, and that is the whole point of me doing this challenge today. And I know today's not going to be the only day, but I want to be somebody that can create anywhere. I want to be somebody that can talk on camera. And, you know, I haven't run into anybody yet that's like, oh, what are you doing? Or mocking or doing anything yet. I'm sure some YouTube people actually fall into that. I'm sure they've had that happen before, and I don't know how to deal with that when it does happen. But I do know growing up as a kid when I did embarrassing things, or, you know, I tripped and fell and did all those kind of, you know, whatever kind of embarrassing moments we all have when we're younger. I do know, having gotten older, that if you had just owned it and laughed it off, there's no power. Nobody has any power to, you know, hold that over you and worry about that. If somebody wants to give you a shit for being out here and doing that, laugh it off, go with it. They hold no power whatsoever with it. Walking right into traffic here. Yeah, I got two guys right here that, you know, kind of looking at me a little bit when I was sitting here vlogging. I don't know if you can hear this with the traffic going by. I'm doing my best to see what happens. But yeah, this is how you conquer fears. This is how you get out there and actually do it. I've got a pretty healthy fear of heights, I would say. But I've actually done rappelling. I've rappelled off of, you know, 950-foot bridges. I have rappelled off of all kinds of different mountainsides. And, you know, I only did that through putting myself through it. And that's the only way to really do it. I wasn't moving away from those guys that were right there because I was worried they're gonna mock me. They're walking really slow. One of them's got a cane, so I just didn't want to walk at a snail's pace. I'm ADHD. We hate people that walk slow. He's okay though. You know, he's got a cane. Can't help that. It's not his fault. You know, I keep saying I want to do more cinematic and storytelling kind of content, but that's gonna mean actually getting outside and doing uncomfortable things like that. So yeah, it might feel weird at first, but you've just got to go out and get outside and actually do some of this stuff. It's actually a really nice day out here in Annapolis. In the shade, it's not so bad. In the sun, it's a little toasty today, but we're down here and we're gonna keep doing it anyways. But I'm telling you right now, that ice cream sounds pretty good. Pip's hot dogs, awesome hot dogs. I might have to come down here a little bit later and get a hot dog. It's bad for you, but I haven't had one in a long time. All right, I can have one, but I can't have the other. So I don't know if anybody watched my video from yesterday. I waited to post it till this morning because apparently you're supposed to wait till post it till 9 a.m. in the morning. I'm just experimenting. None of this stuff really matters. Not right now, at least. So I posted that at 9 a.m. this morning. But I talked about my gear addiction, and I kind of had that one planned a bit in advance, what I wanted to do. That was a lot of work to actually do. I stayed up pretty late editing that one and putting away the equipment, because the thing is actually pulling out and setting up all that equipment. By the way, I'm kind of in an area where there are no people, so I do need to get to the other. Thanks for that one. I do need to get to the other side here where there are more people. There's going to be much more of the touristy area. Honestly, I didn't realize that nobody would be standing right here, so I'm not doing this to purposely avoid, and that's okay, because sometimes when you're out here vlogging, that's going to happen. So yeah, anyways, I was doing that, and I set up all that gear, and it wasn't even remotely everything, because I've still got loads of different cables, connectors, light boxes, stands, little small parts, bags, everything like that. That stuff takes up so much space, and that room only has so much to actually fit it in there. So, yeah. So here you go. I just walked by family of 4 there. Most nobody cared except for the girl. The girl was looking at me. I don't know. She's probably like 14, 15. She's looking, kind of curious. That's about the extent of it. But yeah, that video took a long time, and then I had to put away all that gear. It was kind of cathartic for me, because it also made me realize like just how much gear I have and how much I need to stop buying stuff. Although I do have that new BenQ monitor coming in today. I am looking forward to that. I am very good at researching all the gear that I buy. That's actually one of my fortes. I'm not like Gerald Undone level with research. If you don't know who he is, you should definitely go check him out. But I do my due diligence and make sure I'm buying what's right for me. Are there better monitors? Absolutely. Some of the ProArt ones from BenQ are much, much better monitors. Sorry, I was looking over there. I actually thought that was an ex of mine that I'm very, very good friends with. She's actually one of my best friends now, and she works over here at the Naval Academy. And I looked at her like, she was kind of doing this smirk. I was like, is that? No, that's not her. Okay, never mind. I do have the new monitor coming in because I do want to start getting into color grading. My other monitor is probably like 10 years old at this point, so it's a bit dated. I do have my DaVinci outputting over to my MacBook Pro screen, and that is very color accurate. But I'd like to actually be able to mix on the bigger screen. It's weird. I'm actually in like the most touristy area right now, and there's nobody walking over here. Part of that is Annapolis doing all this construction down here with city parking, with city dock parking coming, and they have to raise this whole area because we have a lot of flooding issues that happen down here. When storms come up, the wind pushes it up. A lot of these bars and restaurants, especially at this lower level, get flooded quite often. So that's something that they have to fix down here. So I'm thinking because of the lack of area over here for people to kind of congregate, it's kind of keeping people away from being able to walk down here. So, all right, here we go. About to walk by a bunch of teenage girls that are used to social media. So this is, does it feel awkward? Sure. But I'm going to keep on talking about it and just going on about my day. And people can think whatever the heck they want to think. Good Lord, it is a little toasty out here today. So I am going to have to go and get something to drink, maybe some ice cream, before I head home and wrap this whole thing up. Because it is quite toasty out here. I just walked by, and I have no idea if he was talking about me or not, but the teenage guy, he might have been like 12 years old, and he was like, what is he doing? And I don't know if he was talking about me. Maybe. Who knows? Doesn't really matter. But there you go. There's your answer. People are just kind of curious, like, what is he doing? If he was talking about me. Might have been talking about nobody. All right, so we're gonna keep walking down over here and headed up the main street to where my car is parked. Now we're walking by a little bit more people. Trying to be conscious though, there are cars around here, there are people around here. This is a tourist area. And you don't want to be that jerk that's blocking traffic or the idiot that's just in the way of everybody. I'm going to stop for a second here. I don't want to be the jerk that's talking on camera as he's walking through traffic. That's a little weird, because then you're kind of a jerk. Be cognizant about where you're vlogging, where you're talking. If you're blocking flow of traffic or something like that, that's where you don't want to be a douche. You don't want to be somebody that's like, yeah, you don't want to be that person that's blocking traffic and messing things up. I don't know how many times you come out of the bathroom, there's some dude just sitting there right in the doorway of a public bathroom who's just sitting there on his phone, and he's, blocking the flow of traffic. Like, dude, you can't walk out of the bathroom and let people out before you start doing any of this. The more and more I walk by people, the more it becomes a little bit easier, but also a little bit more awkward too. It's weird. I actually don't really care what adults are thinking, but it feels weird when I walk by teenagers. And I don't know if that's just because teenagers are assholes. We were, they still are, or they're probably the most judgmental group out of all the people you're going to walk by. And maybe that's partially because they're just judgmental, but also because they're so used to the social media spectrum and being online and seeing all this that they're going to be harsher judges with that. That's okay. You've just got to deal with it. So, you know what I learned? Nobody really cares. Ooh, good song. Nobody really cares. You get a few looks. A couple of people are curious what you're actually doing. But hey, I showed up. It's scary. It's fun. All wrapped into one. I'm going to keep doing these. It can feel a bit awkward at times, especially when you're walking by more close-knit areas where you're actually condensed in, because again, this is downtown. It's a very touristy area. There can be a lot of people. And part of the reason I decided not to do this on Saturday is because it's going to be way too many people. And then I'm just going to be the jerk that's blocking the flow of traffic trying to walk around. But part of that is because, I wanted to kind of ease into it and not have that many people staring at me all at the exact same time. I don't know if people are looking at me. I don't know if people are looking back. I guess I'll find out when I look back on this video. That humidity will get you down here today. I expected judgment. I got indifference. I still can't promise I won't whisper into the mic next time. But hey, we recorded a video today, and I'm gonna go home, I'm gonna edit this, I'm gonna get it posted. So yeah, I did that thing. I did that difficult thing of getting out here in public and feeling awkward doing it. And I didn't realize I was gonna sweat this bad because it was supposed to be mildly warm today. It is really warm today, and I am somebody who sweats pretty profusely. My body is very good at cooling itself down, but when it's this humid, I just sweat like a beast. So I have more stamina than everybody else, but doesn't mean I need to drink some fluid. So, all right guys, that is it for number 22. See you tomorrow for 23. Peace. This place is the best. Red Bean Cafe.